Restock Pro Demo today. I appreciate you all joining. My name is Kristen Hutcherson, and I'm the Partnership Manager with eComEngine. And I did just want to introduce myself and let you know that, we love to collaborate with businesses. And if you're interested in chatting about how we might be able to share your business with our social network, and help you drive traffic to your website, please let me know. I'll stick my email address in the chat when I get a moment. And leading our demo today is Adrian Lai. He is our Restock Pro guru. So we will let him take it away with the demo. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks, Kristen. Hi again, everyone. My name is Adrian. I'm one of the senior customer success for RestockPro here at eComEngine. So for today, we'll go ahead and get started with the demo. Let me just go ahead and start my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thanks, Kristen. So this is the dashboard of RestockPro. So this is the first page that you guys will see once you log into RestockPro. So at the top, we'll actually have some useful tiles. So total inventory value, this is basically the dollar amount of your product quantities in a specific status. Like, for example, once we click this amount, it will actually give us a rundown of a local quantity value, quantity on hand, inbound quantity, and on order quantity, as well as pending and in process quantity values. So these are basically the dollar amount that goes to, like, let's say for the local quantity value, this is the amount or the quantities that you currently have in your warehouse, whereas the quantity on hand value are basically the quantities that you currently have in a fulfillment center. Inbound is basically those quantities that are going into a fulfillment center, while on order is basically those quantities that are being processed by your supplier or your manufacturer. And then we also have the pending quantity and in-process quantity value. These are the reserve units that you can see in Seller Central. Moving along, we also have the reorder alert. So this is basically just a quick FYI of the dollar amount that the system is suggesting for you to reorder to your supplier. And basically, we have this so that you guys would know, how much you would need to reorder to your supplier, or at least to fulfill all of the missing quantities that you currently have in your inventory. We also have the reorder alerts of greater than 7 days. So if ever that you have some quantities that you haven't reordered within the last 7 days, this is basically going to give you the dollar amount representation of that. We also have the on order. So again, this is the quantities that currently being processed by your supplier. So that is the dollar amount of that. And then we have the local to ship. Local to ship are basically the quantities that you currently have in your inventory that the system is suggesting for you to send to a fulfillment center. Lastly, we have the FBA shipment. So this is basically the quantities that are being processed or on its way to a fulfillment center. Aside from that, we also have the news section where we add our announcement for any upcoming releases or any downtime or something like that. So this is where you'll be able to find it. So anything that is related to your account, you can find that under our news section. We also have the sales activity summary. Just a quick FYI, for the units sold on a given time frame. So we go from a 7-day period up to 180 days period. And then we also have some nifty reports that you guys can utilize, like, for example, we have the SKU profitability. This will tell you, like, the prices that you've sold a specific SKU, the profit margin that you may have for it, and as well as, other fees that may be involved for your SKUs. All right. I'll pause for now and check if we have any questions on the chat. All right. No.
I don't see any.
All right. Sounds great. We can now proceed. So we'll now go to our restock suggestions page. So this is basically the heart of Restock Pro. This is where all those forecasting happens, the flags, letting you know which one to reorder and which one to send to Amazon. So basically, one of the key columns that I'd like to highlight would be our flag column. This is where you'll be able to identify which SKUs you need to reorder. So we have this flag. We basically have a total of 4 flags. So we have the red flag letting you know that you need to restock on your SKUs as soon as possible. We have the yellow flag letting you know that the target quantities on hand for that SKU is below the maximum that you wish to keep in your inventory. We also have the out of stock flag for those SKUs that went out of stock within the last 24 hours. And we also have the new flag for those listings that you've recently added in Seller Central. And another thing that I'd like to highlight would be our estimated margin. So in Restock Pro, you are also able to track your profit margin for your SKU. So all you just need to do would be to basically update your sales price, your costs, any miscellaneous costs that you incur, before you can send those products to a fulfillment center. And we also import the fees or basically get the fees directly from Amazon so that it will be a lot easier for you to know what would be your potential margin for each of your SKUs.
Hey, Adrian, we have a couple of
Mhm.
questions. Do you mind if we stop it for just 1 second?
Yeah.
One of the questions on here is on the reorder alerts. Are those quantities Amazon is suggesting, or is that something that you manage?
That is actually something that we in Restock Pro manage. So we base that from the sales velocity that you guys have. And then from there, we check against it against your target max quantities on hand, and then we basically provide you a forecast of that, and that can be found under our column in this section, the suggested ship. Suggested reorder. Suggested reorder is the quantities that we are asking for you to reorder to your supplier, while the suggested ship would be the quantities that the system is suggesting for you to send to a fulfillment center.
Okay, so she was asking, so as a user, we are adding minimum and maximum for those suggestions to occur.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So aside from the estimated margin, we also have the sales velocity and total orders. So Restock Pro is able to import, the total orders that you have for your specific SKUs, and from there we actually derive the sales velocity. And this is actually very useful for a lot of our sellers because they would know which one is their bestseller or their top mover, so that you'll be able to, keep an eye on them and make sure that you have the correct stock levels at all times, and avoiding going out of stock on them, losing those profits in the process. And we also have the quantities on hand inbound column. So quantities on hand is basically the quantities that you currently have in Amazon. So for this particular SKU, as you can see, we have 28 quantities available in Amazon, which is available quantities that can be sold at any time. Also, we have the inbound column. So this is basically the quantities that is being processed or on its way to a fulfillment center. right? And then just like what I've discussed earlier, so we have this suggested ship, suggested reorder, and on order column. So this is basically, again, I'm gonna tell you how much you need to send to Amazon, how much you need to reorder to your supplier, and what are the quantities that are being processed by your supplier. Okay, I'll pause for that part. And do we have any questions, Kristen?
No questions here in chat.
Okay, sounds great. So that's basically everything that we have for the restock suggestions. And one thing that I'd like to add is that you are also able to set up an email alerts for all of this uh suggested quantities or suggested products that you need to reorder. So that is something that you can set on a specific interval, like if you want it to be sent on a nightly basis or a weekly basis. Okay, moving along. We also have our kits section. So in Restock Pro, we are able to create bundles and kits within the system so that you will be able to easily manage them. Like for example, for this item, so we have what we call a seasonal item, and that seasonal item is being composed of these two SKUs. So you will be able to effectively manage, how much you may have in your local inventory for each of those particular parts, so that you will be able to build those kits within Restock Pro. Okay. Lastly, we also have our POs and shipments page. So in Restock Pro, you are able to track all of your POs and shipments, like the status of them, where they are, and if in case that those quantities needs to be received so that it will be able to update your local inventory quantity. So in one of our examples in here on the page, we have a shipment that tells us where it's going and what is basically the source of that. So Posh Pets is our example of a supplier or manufacturer, and they are actually sending the products to the destination, which is a specific Amazon fulfillment center. It will also display the status of that shipment in Restock Pro, and as well as an overview of the amount or the quantities involved for that specific shipment. All right, I'll pause in that section. And do we have any questions?
No, looks like we're good.
Okay. Sounds great. So aside from shipments, I mentioned that we are also able to create POs in Restock Pro and track them. So this is how a PO looks like within Restock Pro. So you can add all the SKUs that you need to reorder to your supplier. And once you are ready, it's basically very easy for you to send it to your supplier. You can either email the PO to yourself. So this is basically going to send you a PDF copy to your email, and then from there you are able to modify the email and forward it to your supplier. You are also able to download this as a copy so that you can attach it to your email and forward it to your supplier. Okay. And aside from that, I'd also want to go through our product section. So our product section is basically where all of your products are syncing from Seller Central. This is where all of those FBA products will appear in Restock Pro, and you are able to customize it however you want. So we'll basically have some fields for you to be able to modify. And these are something that we only keep in Restock Pro. So all those grayed out fields are the ones that we sync directly from Amazon.
Shelly, did you have another question?
All right.
Okay, she does have another question.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to I don't know if I can let you speak or oh, she has a question regarding the POs and shipments tab.
Okay.
Let's see. Are you going to type it in the chat? She said that they're having issues keeping up with shipments and receiving. Can you help with that?
Yeah. RestockPro basically allows you to be able to create POs and receive POs within the system so that you don't have to manually update your local inventory. You are able to manage all of that within RestockPro.
Does that answer your question? Do you show when the shipments are received and when there's issues?
Yeah.
How do you,
So
how do we help with problem shipments?
Yeah, so for shipments, we only show the status whether if it's currently being received or it's currently being worked on by Amazon. But unfortunately, for those issues with shipments, like let's say for example, if there's any errors or something like that, we might not be able to show that within Restock Pro. Would you be able to perhaps provide a specific error that you might have encountered or something that prevented your shipment to be received properly?
Um, let's see. Yes, she said she can provide something. They currently use a third party company, so they were wondering if we offered that.
Hmm. Um, would you mind telling us how you create your shipments? Is it like do you upload it through that third party company?
I'm going to actually allow her to talk. Actually, I figured out how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead, Shelly, if you want to talk.
Right.
Hello there.
Hi, Shelley.
I don't want to monopolize the conversation here in the webinar.
No, this is
Not a
great.
problem.
Well, oftentimes Amazon misses units or has missing inventory that they say they did not receive that we shipped.
Hmm.
And so we have to create cases and get reimbursements for those, which is a large task. But we have a third party company that helps us with that. Of course, they take a percentage.
Yeah.
So I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah, for those types of scenarios, that is actually something that we do not sync to Restock Pro. It does show you that the amount that you sent maybe gonna reflect what they have, or at least they considered as received. At that point of view, you are able to see at least the difference, but after that, we are no longer able to track them.
Yeah, no problem. We have an ERP inventory management system that syncs up. So we have it managed pretty well. I just was wondering if you guys offered what all was being offered in this demo. That's
Understood.
all. Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thanks,
questions.
Shelly.
All
Any other
right.
questions? All right, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Lastly, we have our supplier page. So this is where you are able to add your manufacturers or your suppliers so that, whenever you create a PO, you are able to, include those details automatically. So this is basically how our POs looks or the supplier looks like. It's gonna ask you for the supplier alias and its address as the minimum required information. And then the rest, these are something that would be, good to know for, if you have any other employees that actually does or creates your PO. And yeah, that's basically how Restock Pro works. I'll pause in this section and check if we have any other questions.
I do not have any open questions, Adrian.
All right. Well, I guess I'll give it back to you, Kristen. That's everything that we have for Restock Pro. Thank you very much,
Okay.
guys.
Well, I thank everyone for joining, and please feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions or need any additional help. Adrian is always here to support you. And again, my name is Kristen Hutcherson. Anything else? Oh, let's see. Uh, Shelley, to answer your question, she asked if we offer a repricer at this time. We do not have a repricer right now. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. You all have a great day. I appreciate your attendance.